Okay, so let's look at the E long pattern, and we're also going to have the cutout. And then we have today's chart. I didn't even talk about this, where we're going to get our feet wet in half diminished chords again. And I don't know why I thought of this, but I just got into it and I made a chart, and that's what we got. We'll take a peek at that if we can, and that is going to be the new chart here. I just finished today. Is chart 251, C to F and root to half diminished cage shape comparison. And oh boy, this is a subject of itself. It really is a subject in itself. But the crux of this is a digression from what we were talking about. But the crux of the chart started over here. I didn't fill in my gray O's. Is that when we go fourth and root here, our root might be, our fourth might be root 4, 6, and our fifth is 5 root 3, okay, in the E shape, and then the 5 root 3 is your your C shape. So you have an E here. Let's say we're looking at the C box. We've got an E-shaped F here, okay, and that's going to be root 4 and 6, okay, if this is our root. If C is our root, we're playing root 4, 6 with the F, and then in the C, we're going to go 5 root 3. You ever done this? Done like this? I used to do that all the time. Well, that's really a C shape down there if you had room to play it. So if you do it in F, you can get that. Just do it in the key of F, which is the first fret up, instead of doing it open string. Okay, just as we have that relationship, we can derive the relationship for the half diminished. Okay, so with half diminished, we've got root and fifth E shaped to C shaped triad. Okay, so this time we have root on top, and then on the bottom we have the fifth. So here we have fourth on top, and underneath it we go to the root. So we could do it in F, I guess. So here's fourth, here's root. Okay, but if we wanted to go to the root, we could go up here and do it. We got root on top. On the bottom we have the fifth here. But we're going to change that fifth, and we're going to find out what is the shape for the half diminished. That's what the new chart covers. And the point is there that the half diminished turns out to be, we can do a little substitution where we can just do a 2, 4, 7 right there. So instead of 2, 5, 7, we can go 2, 4, 7. Okay. And over here, it's almost like a G minor add the seventh. So instead of a C shape there, we're going to do a C minor shape and add the seventh from there. And that'll give us a G minor add seventh, or a G minor seventh. It's just I put add 7 because I'm not talking about this 7 anymore. The 6 becomes that. So it'll be, we'll do 2, 2, 4, 6, 7. That's all I'm talking about in this particular part of the chart here. Alright, so there's all kinds of time and attention we can put into this problem. But once again, what I'm saying is, over here we have a relationship where we have an E-shaped fourth here. Okay, I guess we're going to cover this before we go back to what we were doing, but I know what we were doing well enough, and it was just a fix-up from yesterday's lesson. So we can get back into that. We'll ease back into that. Here we have an E-shaped fourth, root 4, 6. Okay, that's the fourth now. And we can go into the C-shaped root from there, because remember, in string shapes, the fourth of C string shape is E. Or in cage shapes, the fourth of C is the E shape. Of course, you can substitute back into an E-shaped root there only if you play a pentatonic or a triad. But you can't substitute the diatonic back in there unless you want to go into the key of F. So in the key of C, C is the root, F is the fourth. We're not going to do substitutions here. We're just going to say that the same relationship between C and F, okay, also exists between the root and the fifth here. Alright? So the fifth would be so this involves an interesting substitution where instead of up here, now here's where the action starts. So we got root 5, 3 for the E-shaped root up there in the E cage. But then if we just take the pattern down, you're going to the fifth of that pattern, right? Or actually move the pattern up, we're going to the fourth of that pattern. Let's see what we got here. Root 5, 3. Okay, so that's the root, the root pattern there. And then the fifth of it is underneath. You get a little confused with this move it up, move it down stuff. I'm just trying to reinforce, tell you in different ways how it checks. That gives you the checks and balances. Oh, did I move, I did something, say this is the fourth of that. Well, did I move the pattern up? Yeah, that checks. Okay. So, but the problem with moving the pattern up is you got to know what to fill it in with. Well, you fill it in with the fourth string shape if you're in short string shapes. If you're in long patterns, at that point, you fill it in with the pattern that goes underneath it, the string that goes underneath it, which is actually the fifth. So, what's under the root is the fifth. What's under the fifth is the second, which is the fifth of. So that's actually back in string talk where we're talking notes. Okay, but remember the string shape labels here that go along with it go in fourths. So sure, 5 is the root, 5 is the fifth of root, but A is the fourth of the E string shape. You just want to keep track of what's going on there. So let's move right along. Let's look at our half diminished. What do we have? The half diminished pentatonic. It's going to be 7, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7. 7, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7. Okay. What it is we're forming a G minor add 7 there in the E cage. Okay. So it's G minor. We're not doing a C. The C shape gives us the fifth, 2, 5, 7, 2, 5, 7. Happy days. But we're going to play 2, 4, 6, 7. It's like a G minor shape. That's in the E box. Now let's zoom out a second and look up here and go at our E box over here. So our 7, our what we call half diminished seventh. Remember, the seventh of the half diminished seventh is the sixth of the root. So it's G minor shape there. In caged, we go, let's say, over 1. So we have an E minor shaped half diminished seventh in the D box. Okay, and it applies to the other boxes too. Encaged.